You're listening to Simon Scriver's amazingly ultimate fundraising superstar podcast, talking all things fundraising, charities, nonprofits, and more. Here's your host, as always, Simon Scriver.
Return of the quick tip. Oh my God. Yes, we are back with another quick tip. It's that weekly part of my podcast where we delve into one area of your fundraising and I give you a few step-by-step tips how to do it better and raise more money. Today, I wanted to follow on from where we were talking about identifying potential corporate partners and moving into the point of the fundraising funnel where we start to research those potential corporate partners and learn as much about them before we make the approach and certainly before we make the ask. Now, this can be a real time-consuming process where we're trying to learn about as much as we can about the individuals and the companies we're going to approach before we start really engaging them and before we put that proposal across. One of the biggest mistakes that we make in the nonprofit sector often is we write the proposal first. We write a big generic proposal for corporate partnerships and we send them out to a bunch of companies and we really don't take the time to figure out whether this proposal is perfectly matched for them. And sometimes we don't offer or we don't talk about things that really interest them. And we throw in a whole lot of the stuff in there that just isn't going to interest them. To be a good corporate fundraiser, your proposal, it shouldn't be written. It should be a blank page before we start engaging and before we start talking to these companies. And it's only after, at least one or two conversations with them and a lot of research that we actually put together a real tailored proposal that's going to give them everything that they want in a partnership. Remember, what we're trying to do is find their purpose here. Our job as a charity partner is to fulfill their goal. So we need to find out what their goal is. We need to find out what their purpose is. And then our proposal is going to fulfill it for a price, for something in return. So we're going to start, what we're going to do is we're going to search for the company name. No surprises there. We're going to have a look on Google and we're going to have a look on Google News as well, specifically. And let's just see what we can find out about them, what's going on with them in the news, what has gone on with them in the past. And we're trying to find a bit of their history. So very possibly they've already donated, they've already raised money, they've already done something as part of their CSR, their corporate social responsibility. So if we can find out what that is, it's going to flag to us what they're interested in, what they're open to, and what they know works for them. So try just searching for the company name or any individuals and prospects that we have within the company. Try combining those searches with words like donate, raised, CSR, charity, and search for those combinations of words so that we can find any news articles or any press releases or any comments people have made in terms of them raising money. We're going to do the same on social media. So look at their own social media and they're going to broadcast what's important to them, or at least what they say is important to them. See what topics they're kind of covering, see what topics they delve into a little bit or pique their interest, see what they're saying about their staff, see what they're saying about their clients. If they're covering any world issues or significant days in the calendar year, let's see what they're saying about it. And let's see what other people are saying about them on social media. So do a search for the company name and see if anyone is talking about their charity partnerships with them. See if anyone has any complaints about these companies and things that need to be addressed and that maybe you as the charity could help them address. Let's look on their website. If you're really lucky and you're dealing, you're potentially approaching a big company, you might see that they have a specific CSR policy. And they're going to spell out very clearly for you what the procedure is for picking a charity, what exactly it is that they're looking for. But most companies aren't going to have this. And so instead, what we might look at is just see if they talk about their mission, their vision, their values, all that bullshit that they kind of put out to pretend that they're a caring company. So you're going to see them talk about things like staff wellness. You're going to see how their community is important to them. You're going to see perhaps how the environment is significant in their world plans and things like that. And although this is a lot of marketing waffle, it's going to help us when we start to approach them because we're going to project some of these words and phrases back to them. And remember, we're coming in to fulfill what they're trying to do. And if we can project that back to them almost word for word, then it's going to strike a chord with them. It's going to resonate with them. let's read between the lines of what they put out there, and let's try and figure out what their immediate goal is here, their short-term or medium goal. Is it to build business? Is it to get a bigger audience? Is it to bring in more customers? Very probably. Or they might be a company who's really trying to support their staff and their staff wellness. So this is going to change our proposal. If this is something that we're going to go in and talk about how we can engage their staff and how we can support their staff and make their staff happier. Are they trying to make the world better, as most companies say they are? So how can we feed into that, and how can we help them achieve that? Beyond that, in the research, we might look at official company documents, any accounts that they've released, anything that's available through your own, country's revenue system or taxation system. See if we can find out the size of the company, the profitability, what kind of revenue they're having, where they may be conducting their business. Any of this official stuff, because all this stuff that we're talking about is going to change your proposal. If you're talking about a small company with very little or no profit, then it's going to be a very different proposal and a very different conversation from a large company who's multinational, who's had charity partners before, who knows what they want. All these things are going to influence our conversation and influence our proposals. Beyond that kind of desk research, we're also going to get out there and we're going to have some conversations. So if we can ask them, if we have a contact in the company, let's just go out and ask them, what are you looking for in a charity partnership? Have you ever partnered with a charity before? What is the number one driver for your company at the moment? Are you trying to grow business? Are you trying to get your staff engaged? Do your staff ever donate hours, or are there any activities that your staff engage in? Is there a committee that your staff have in terms of entertainment and activities? Have these conversations with anyone you know in there, or anyone you can reach out and get in front of. Even just ring up the receptionist and talk to the receptionist. People will share this information with you, and it's going to help you as you start to put together a concrete plan of attack for them, or a proposal. Speak to any previous charities that maybe they've partnered with. Fundraisers are notoriously generous with their information. So if this company has already had a previous charity of the year and that charity knows that it's not going to repeat, they might be really open in terms of how they got that partnership. What were the good things about it? What were the bad things about it? They'll give you the inside track of what the company was looking for and how you might be able to feed into that and actually jump those hurdles and kind of gain that trust quicker. Talk to any customers or clients of the company that you might have contact with. See what's important to them, see what they like and they don't like. And again, that's stuff that we can use when we're projecting across our proposal. And ask your peers. Again, ask any fundraisers or people who are outside of fundraising in the charity sector. Ask your board, your network. We talked about when we were researching or trying to identify companies, we're trying to find companies that we have a link into, that we know someone in there. So talk to that link and see what they know about it. See what inside knowledge they can give you. That's researching. It's time consuming, but it's not as complicated as some of the other steps, but we just want to build up our knowledge banks before we reach out to them, before we take them out for a coffee, before we get in front of them, and certainly before we start to sit down and write our proposal to them. That's our quick tip for this week. Come back next week. And again, I will be here on Thursday with an interview with someone amazing. Or actually, I think we have something special coming up this Thursday. But anyway, just tune in, subscribe, like, share the podcast, all that crap. If you have any specific topics you want me to cover, then get in touch with me at simon@changefundraising.com or find me on Twitter at toastfundraiser, and let's talk about what's coming up next on the podcast. So have a good week.
You've been listening to Simon Scriver's Amazingly Ultimate Fundraising Superstar podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and head over to changefundraising.com to learn more or get in touch with Simon. Or don't, whatever, you're big enough to make your own decisions.
Hello, this is Morgan Freeman. For discounts on Simon's best-selling online fundraising courses, go to www.changefundraising.com/training and use coupon code podcast. Complete them in your own time, wherever you want. Get busy living or get busy buying.